On this week's episode of the KGI Podcast, we turn the mic over to Brian and Niloy, a pair of first-year students in the Master of Engineering in Biopharmaceutical Processing program. Both came to KGI from UC Riverside with different academic backgrounds. Brian earned his undergrad degree in biology, and Niloy studied bioengineering.
So my name's Brian. I'm a first-year MN student, and joining me today will be my friend Niloy, who's also a first-year MN student. So we're actually on a technical TMP together, which means our work is strictly lab-based for the most part.
Yeah, so mostly we're in the lab a lot while also taking classes at KGI. It's kind of hard balancing the two, but I mean, it's really helping us become better at managing our time and what we're actually doing and managing our time effectively as well. I guess you could talk about the difficulties and the challenges we've had during our courses here at KGI alongside our TMP.
Yeah, so actually what I like about our courses here for the MN program specifically is we have what are intensive courses. So rather than taking like an hour a day, for a few weeks, we just take the whole day and just learn about that one subject. And actually, I really like it because everything just flows so great, rather than just spending an hour and then having to kind of review it right before you go to the next session. You can just learn it all in one day. So we have like a math class that's split over 3 days, bioprocessing class, fluid flow, and then, so what's beautiful about this program is if you're coming from like a life sciences background, say biology, chemistry, biochem, you can take engineering courses, and then it goes the other way as well. For engineering students like Niloy, he's taken a biology class, and what others have you taken, Niloy?
That biology class, mostly that only class I really cater to us engineers as far as trying to cover the holes that we've missed during our undergraduate career. And then other than that, all the other supplemental courses also helped us with kind of getting up to speed with the whole curriculum of KGI itself. I think one thing that's great about KGI and the courses they offer is that class sizes are relatively small, so you can have a deep interaction with your professors, and also they're really here to actually help you become better people, despite the strictness of the courses and stuff. They're really here just to try to make you better scientists overall.
I think one of the best parts about KGI is the open door policy we have here. Our bioprocessing faculty is just amazing. Whenever their doors are open, you can just stop by, say hello, ask them any questions you have, and they're always available. And I think that's one of the best parts about this place is I think as a grad student, they just I think they just help you out so much, and really you get treated here like an equal. And even in lab too, we're very independent. They're not, holding our hands. They kind of they tell us to do something, and then we'll kind of go and build off of it. And so it's beautiful when we can come up with our own experiments, get our own results, and then we analyze the data and everything. And I think what I love about the program too is that they teach you how to present. There's a right way to present. Even like your composure, the way you talk, what you present, and so it's really, I think that's one of the best parts about this program is just the fact that they teach you how to succeed in industry. How do you think that KGI has prepared you, Niloy, for industry?
KGI has offered me a lot of experience in trying to get into industry itself, especially with the TMP project that we're both on. Since it is really technical, it offers us real industry related experience, typical to that of what industry might use. I mean, the machines down to the FICEL and NOVA is the same ones used in industry, and I mean, I think it really gives us an edge over those in typical graduate programs.
Yeah, actually we've had some tours. We went on an Amgen tour earlier this year, and as I was talking to some of the folk that worked there, they were telling us what they were doing, in terms of their jobs and everything, and we were able to understand everything they were saying. Everything that they do in lab, we do in lab as well. So I think it really prepares us for a process development type position when we graduate. And what are some of the other things you like about KGI, Niloy?
I think one of the most things that I like about KGI is the whole, if you want to do it, you can do it kind of whole attitude. You just have to speak to an advisor about what your plans are for your experiments or whatever, and they'll fully agree with you, and they'll be by your back. essentially. They'll support you in whatever kind of pursuit you want to make toward research, and they'll try to be there for you if you need help or if you need kind of additional guidance toward what you want to do. They'll just be there and help you. And I mean, they want you to become better scientists. They want you to be able to run experiments on your own. They just want you to be able to even like get a head start in industry themselves. So it's like if you want it, you can achieve it pretty much at KGI.
So one of the things that I love about this place is the fact that it's a very small school. You get to know everybody, and that also includes everyone within our program. So we have about 46 people in our program right now, and it's so great because you know everybody. We see them on a daily basis, and you know sometimes you know. I like that classes here, they kind of rotate the groups. So, you know, in one class, we'll have a certain group, then we'll switch groups for a different class. And I feel like that kind of helps everybody get to know each other. And I think because of that, you know, it's so much better because we know so many people, and it's so nice to know that we're all kind of working towards the same goal. And I think because of that, we just have a smoother process throughout this whole thing. So I graduated from UC Riverside as a biology student, and my undergrad experience was, I'd say, pretty good. I think the only thing that the only thing that made it different from KGI is just that because it's so big, you know, like the faculty to student ratio is way bigger. And I think because of that, I wasn't as comfortable, you know, reaching out to professors. It was really more like leaning on a few friends that you kind of kept throughout college. But here it's like you got like 40 friends that are all taking the exact same things. So I think from an undergrad perspective as well, you know, they were constantly like holding your hand. It was always like, you know, just basically do what you're told, and you never really had to think about anything in terms of like lab work. But here, you know, the difference is you can run it. You know, they have so much trust in you here, and I think that's one of the best things about this place. Niloy, where did you go to college?
So like you, I also went to UCR, except I was a bioengineering student. At KGI, I didn't expect to see myself doing the Master's of Engineering program. I mean, even in undergrad, doing bioengineering was like totally a new thing to me. Initially, I was biochemistry, and then I got scared out of it and got into bioengineering. The fact of the matter was people were saying that, oh my God, biochemistry is so hard. But even now at KGI, doing biochemistry and learning about it is like one of the most interesting topics out there right now. I mean, it's opened up my eyes by so much. Like just reading and learning about it is like so fun in itself. So I think how I got exposure to KGI was during the B-Suite internship. And I think to any undergrad who's interested in KGI should also do that. In addition to also like just boosting up your presentation skills, it also gives you a lot of insight into how industry works and how the grad school itself works and what kind of experience you'll expect at KGI. What are your thoughts, Brian?
You know, in undergrad, I had no idea what the biotech industry was. Never once at UCR did I hear companies like Amgen, Atara, BI. You know, I've never heard those companies before. So when I first came to the B-Suite internship like you, I was really surprised when they were talking about this whole new world. You know, prior to that, I thought med school was the only option, but there's so many other alternatives to, you know, after you graduate. And so when I came here and I found out about the biotech industry, I was just so amazed. You know, I kind of forgot that, you know, all these companies are making like life-saving medicines, and I just totally forgot about it. So I think when I came here, it was just totally a different world, and I loved it so much. You know, here they teach you about, you know, how you grow the cells through the upstream process, how you can purify your product through the downstream process. And then I think what I was amazed by most is that it's an engineering program, but they'll also teach you business. There's a lot of business that goes into these companies because this is a super high risk, high reward type of business. And there's so many companies like startups that can go bankrupt because every part of the process is just so expensive. And I think the other surprise was dealing with the FDA. You know, the FDA is so strict about biologics, and it's such a long and expensive process. And I think learning about that just totally blew my mind. You know, what other pieces of the drug development process do you find most interesting, Niloy?
So yeah, I mean, being like an undergrad researcher and at UCR, that's like all that I thought what biotech was, just doing research in like terms of finding drug candidates for maybe like a disease that you're targeting. But I think KGI has really opened my eyes into seeing like that there's a much more huge process behind it all. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways of KGI, that they teach you the entire biotech process. And it's not just research. I mean, how do you get that drug candidate that you found to be able to be produced and manufactured effectively, to be able to, you know, be sold to people who need it? I mean, you can't just like make a drug and research and then be all like, all right, now let's sell this. I mean, there's like a huge timeline and like development like process just to be able to get that into the market, including the FDA and all of the like clinical trials that you need to do, all of that stuff. I mean, and KGI has really taught you about most of, or maybe the entire process itself.
So, you know, looking towards the future after, I mean, the first semester went by extremely fast, you know, but we learned so much in those first few months. And I think looking forward to the future, in terms of internships, I think I'm definitely trying to pursue like a PD type internship or process development. And I think it's fascinating, you know, just, you know, running your experiments and then seeing the results, seeing that you made progress towards making your product better. And, you know, what kind of internship are you looking for, Niloy?
Yeah, I think same as you. I mean, just being on a technical TMP has also like kind of just made me want to look for a technical internship in itself. I think one thing that I can kind of say is that like I'm currently wanting to go to Amgen. And so Amgen is probably my top choice of trying to find an internship. Just because you get kind of like the freedom and also kind of, I mean, it's really the enjoyment of actually running your experiments and then finding your results and being able to translate that to something that can be used in industry. I think that's one of the most benefiting things in an internship, especially a technical internship. I mean, I'm not trying to say that like business related or research related internships are bad in itself, but I mean, I think just for me as an individual, doing this technical internship in process development is just such a kind of rewarding internship in itself, just by the experience you gain from it.
So I love the culture at KGI again because it's a small campus. You know, you get to see a lot of the same people. And because of that, you know, I feel like everyone is more friendlier. You know, everyone's likely to say hello to each other. You know, you're not just seeing strangers as you walk through the halls. And so what I like about it is that, you know, there's so many clubs here. Even for a small school, you know, we have over 45 clubs now. And, you know, we're adding more constantly. And so the beauty about that is you can find something that you like. And with our new dean, you know, she really wants to make sure it's easy to add clubs, and she wants to incorporate, you know, all that friendliness. So we've had like 10 new clubs added this last semester, and I know we're going to get way more. And so, you know, that's kind of what I like about KGI is that, you know, they can be clubs for everybody. You know, what do you think about the culture here at KGI?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. The culture is like really open to everyone, really. I mean, even if you have an idea for a club that hasn't been made yet, I mean, you can go for it and just make a club. I mean, you just need the minimum amount of people and create your own club. It's that easy. And I think even Brian himself, he's made a club called Entertainment 720. Shameless plug. But I think it's really easy to be able to make friends and be able to just connect with other people around you. You're not like, just like Brian said, you're a family here. You're not alone. You can always ask anyone for help. Your colleagues, the other students, the faculty. I mean, everyone's here just to like help you progress as a better person. Not just in terms of being better like academically, but also being better like socially, being able to talk to other people, and just being able to make connections, really.
Yeah, and one of the biggest advantages of KGI is the connections that the school has. This school talks to so many companies, and, you know, even the MNG program in general, you know, our bioprocessing faculty knows a lot of people within the industry. So we get guest speakers all the time. And listening to the guest speakers, you know, and again, when they talk, everything that they say, we understand. And I think that's the beauty of it, you know, because it kind of makes us feel like we're more prepared to handle the real world. But it's amazing, you know, getting to see some of the VPs, some of these high positions And, just having them come out and talk to us is just awesome, and so it's great to be able to make those kind of connections.
Yeah, in terms of like having guest speakers come out to speak to us, I think it's just really that KGI has a lot to offer in terms of its resources. And I think to anyone who's interested in KGI, I would say this, just to utilize all the resources that KGI has to offer, because I think if you're able to utilize them all effectively, there's no doubt you'll be successful in the future.